Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to dive deep into a concept that can change the way you look at your challenges, your struggles, and maybe even your life. It's a quote from Albert Einstein that says, "The significant problems we have cannot be solved at the same level of thinking with which we created them." At first, this might sound a little abstract, but by the end of this video, it's going to make a lot more sense. And I hope it shifts the way you approach your own challenges. Let's take a moment to think about the problems we face in life, whether it's a difficult relationship, stress at work, or a personal battle you've been struggling with for years. Think about how overwhelming it can feel when you're stuck in the same loop. You try the same things over and over, hoping for a different result, but you find yourself back in the same place. This is where Einstein's wisdom comes in. When we try to solve a problem from the same perspective that created it, we end up recycling our thoughts, our actions, and ultimately our results. But what does it mean to think at a different level? To solve problems at a new level of thinking means we have to step out of our old mindsets. We need to challenge the beliefs and assumptions that have guided us up to this point. It requires looking at the issue from a higher, broader perspective. It's about growth and transformation, not just about fixing the problem. Imagine for a moment that you're standing in front of a mountain. You've been trying to get to the top by walking in circles around the base. No matter how many times you try, you always end up in the same spot. The solution isn't to keep walking the same path, but to step back and ask yourself, is there a different way to approach this mountain? Maybe you need to climb instead of walking. Maybe you need to find a different path entirely. It's that shift in perspective that makes all the difference. You need to elevate your thinking to a new level, one that opens up possibilities you couldn't see before. I want to pause here because I know this is easier said than done. We're human. We get comfortable in our patterns, even if those patterns are causing us pain. It's hard to think outside the box when you're right in the middle of the storm. And I get it. We cling to what's familiar even when it's not working. It can feel terrifying to break free from those old patterns and try something new. But growth only happens when we allow ourselves to think differently. Maybe right now you're dealing with something that feels insurmountable, a problem you've been stuck with for years. Maybe it's a limiting belief about yourself, your abilities, or what's possible for your life. Maybe it's a fear that keeps pulling you back into the same spot. I'm here to tell you that you don't have to stay stuck. You can change your mindset. You can evolve your thinking. It's not easy and it doesn't happen overnight, but every small shift in perspective can start to unravel the knots that have been holding you back. And here's where grace comes in. We're often so quick to show grace to others when they're struggling, but how often do we extend that same grace to ourselves? We all make mistakes. We all get stuck. But instead of beating ourselves up or thinking we should have done better, what if we showed ourselves the same kindness and understanding we'd show to a close friend? You have to allowing ourselves grace doesn't mean we ignore the problem or pretend it's not there. It means we acknowledge that we're human, that we're learning, that growth takes time, and it's okay to not have it all figured out right away. Grace gives us the space to try, fail, learn, and try again without judgment. So, how do you start changing your thinking? Here are a few steps to get you started. First, practice mindfulness. Take a step back from the situation. When we're too close to a problem, we get trapped in emotional reactions. Give yourself some space to breathe and observe your thoughts without judgment. Second, challenge your assumptions. Ask yourself, what if I'm wrong about this? Sometimes we hold on to beliefs that limit us simply because we've never questioned them. Third, seek out new perspectives. Talk to people who have been through similar challenges. Read books, watch videos, or listen to podcasts that inspire different ways of thinking. The more you expose yourself to new ideas, the more you'll start to shift your own. And finally, be patient with yourself. Change takes time. You don't need to have all the answers right now. What's important is that you're open to thinking differently, to growing, and to evolving. And through it all, show yourself grace. You're doing the best you can, and that's enough. Remember, the problems you face aren't permanent. They're not unsolvable, but they do require you to rise to a new level of thinking. The same mindset that created them won't be the one that fixes them. You have the power to change the way you see things. And with that new perspective, you'll start to see solutions that you couldn't see before. Thank you for watching.